Welcome to another episode of Character Development. My name's Morgan.
And my name's Sydney. So, Morgan, how's it going? How's your week been?
It's going well. The weather kind of warmed up, which is nice. The snow's kind of melting. I thought I was a snow girly, and it was cute. Like I'm in a snow globe, but then that shit got irritating quickly because I can't do anything or go anywhere. So I understand how you were like, I'm surprised that you love it. Like, okay, nah, I'm with you. It's not my
Yeah,
vibe.
it
But
only takes
otherwise, good week. It was a good week. Yeah, any updates? Let's see. That job that I was supposed to hear from, still waiting on that one. Hopefully, I'll hear from them by next week. Um, Fingers crossed, everyone.
yeah.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, nothing really. What about you? What's new? What's going on?
Nothing too crazy. I'm trying to get like out of my daily routine, which
Okay.
is like work, home, and like that's pretty much it. Um, so today I actually went for a walk on the beach. I was in like my big little lies, like I was having my big little lies moment. It was like me, my dog, like my those robes that like white women wear where they like fold it over, or not a robe, like a cardigan. A cardigan. So I was like, I was
Like
out there with
you were in
my
a robe at the beach.
it was like my oversized cardigan with like my beats and my dog, and I was just like staring
Okay.
out to the distance, like thinking about life and stuff. Um,
That was the wind like rustling through your hair
yeah,
and Zuzu's looking all like regal.
yeah. Except she saw another dog and like took off. And even though she's small, she's strong. So like I went flying. Like my moment ended very quickly.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, that's like pretty much my update. Just that I'm trying to like appreciate where I am, even though it's not California, on the days that, to your point, it's not snowing like crazy, like
Mhm.
actually get outside. And yeah, thinking about taking another TikTok break because
Okay.
the algorithm is algorithming and it's not very pleasant. Um, yeah, a little bit too much world news for me lately, so I might take a little sabbatical.
Oof. Yeah, I have not been on TikTok much other than to watch ASMR videos because they help me sleep. And then um watching funny like random ones that pop up. But this week, okay, so I have a couple of things for you to watch that I watched. So y'all know if you know me that I Kevin Hart gets on my nerves. But okay, yeah, like he's annoying. But he has this new movie on Netflix that came out, I think like at the first of this year called Lift. And it's like a mystery, not mystery, like an action mystery drama thing. And it's actually good. I was like, okay, this is a feel good, like funny, whatever. So I watched that. It was cute. Also, Netflix has a new show out called Fool Me Once. It's a limited
I've
series.
heard. You recommend?
It was good. It was good.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was good. Same kind of like mystery vibe, crime, true crime thing. That's based on a book. Haven't read the book, but very good.
Okay.
And then the last thing I watched today was what is it called? What the heck is this movie called? Oh, Don't Worry, Darling, or whatever the hell that.
Oh, I heard good things about that too.
Okay, so I heard like mixed reviews,
Okay.
but I remember there was a bunch of like drama surrounding it because there was like all that stuff going on with Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles and whatever, like during that time, and like apparently some people in the cast like were fighting or whatever. I don't care, white people drama, but
I was literally
they I tried watching it like probably a year ago because it came out in 2022. I tried watching it about a year ago and I like couldn't get in it. I was like, what is this? It's like based in the 50s, like white people in the 50s. And so I was like, oh Lord. And so I like, whatever.
yeah.
Today I gave it another try and it actually is good. It's like a sci-fi thriller thing. It's actually good. So give that a try, give that a go.
Okay. I have some recommendations for you that I don't know if you're actually going to enjoy, but I really like trashy TV.
Oh,
Um,
same.
oh, perfect. Okay. So I am rewatching Grey's Anatomy for the fifth time. I've watched the entire series 5 times through.
Love
So
Grace.
yeah, that is like what I love to like watch it in different phases of my life and like and dislike different people depending on where I am in life. So like right
Mm.
now I hate Derek Shepherd because he's low-key a narcissist, and I think
Loki?
that yeah, I didn't know like wow, okay, yeah, so I
He's
see it
not
now.
worse than Meredith, though.
Oh, I'm not there yet.
You've
Oh
liked Meredith anytime you've ever watched the show. You liked her.
yeah,
She gives problematic white woman every single time that
but
I've
I
ever watched that
like
show.
it. But I like
Oh
her.
God! And then she wants to have this black baby. It's like a savior complex. I like can't. I can't with her.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to watch that the same now, but that's fine.
I don't know. She just like I don't know. She always was just irritating to me. I love Grey's Anatomy. I stopped watching it during the pandemic though because they just jumped the shark. Like it was just too much.
Yeah.
Shonda was doing way too much, so I cut it off. When well, Meredith started having like COVID hallucinations with Derek and other people who had
Okay.
died, I was like,
Valid.
okay, this is too much.
Valid.
This
Okay.
is too much. And honestly, like I love the OG crew that like when
Yes.
everyone started either leaving or dying off, I was like, the interns were getting irritating. So I don't know. I feel like Shonda did say, or correct me if I'm wrong, at some point, she was like, when Ellen Pompeo decides she doesn't want to be Meredith anymore, I'm stopping the show.
Yeah.
But Meredith isn't, or she's not Meredith anymore full time, and the show's still running. So I'm confused.
I think it's because like the other actors are now like producers and like writers for the show. So because they want to keep it going, like what's his name? Like Jesse Williams or whatever, like the green-eyed light-skinned man. He
Mm-hmm.
writes a few episodes for the show. And I don't know what else he is going on career-wise. Like I haven't heard anything. I'm not one to talk, but I don't know what else he's doing. So like if I were in that position, I'd probably keep it pushing
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I personally stopped watching when Christina left. Like that broke my heart. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, she's my
I
favorite. love
love her. I think the episode when Derek died. Sorry if you're watching this and have never seen Grey's Anatomy and wanted to
Spoiler. Like that was a really big spoiler if this is your first time. What like okay. Yeah.
Well, rewind, and I think you never heard that. But yeah, when Derek died, that entire episode was so triggering for me because I was just like sad. Like I hadn't been sad like that for a TV character like in a really long time, and then it was like something that was so preventable, and so
Yes.
I was like, it just made me angry, and when I
Yeah.
had like gotten too emotionally invested, and I had to cut it off. So
Yeah.
after that, I was just like, But I mean, she's made like other shows. I feel like Shonda, she's made lots of shows that I love. Like loved Grey's. Like I can't even hold her for that. Wasn't big into Scandal, but the episodes that I did watch, it was cool.
Yeah.
How to Get Away with Murder was hella good.
I haven't even like given that a chance yet.
Okay, that's your next one.
Okay.
You would love it.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
so good. Ooh, it was so good. Viola Davis was in her bag.
Okay.
Ooh, that was great TV. Then she had like what Station 19, which was a spinoff of
I watched a few episodes because it started to cross over. So
yeah,
like on
it is.
crossover nights, I'll be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I watched like the first 2 seasons, but see what kind of got jacked up was when COVID came. Shonda's show started jumping the shark, and they all were happening at the same time. And since what was it like? TGIT wasn't happening anymore, so it was like Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, and
Yes.
Grey's. The only one still on was Grey's, and then she had all these new shows that were like not very good.
Yeah.
Ooh, and how could I forget Private Practice Child? That
Oh,
that
yeah.
show was better than Grey's, to be honest.
Yeah, low key.
High key.
I love Addison. I like, how they say like they can never make me hate you. Never, never. Like that girl, the grace in which she handled that whole situation.
That show was. If somebody needs something to watch, go watch Private Practice.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That scene when Amelia. I'm not even gonna go into it, but
Yeah,
that
no
was.
more spoilers.
You don't need to watch it if you haven't watched it. Watch it.
Okay.
Watch
I
it. Watch
have
it.
one more recommendation for you.
Okay, what?
Love is Blind Sweden, actually.
So are they like speaking Swedish? Because I like actually hate watching TV where there's an English over talking.
It is an English dubbed.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna
the
watch Love
drama.
is Blind that's coming out in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll be tuned in for that for sure. Like every year I'm mad, but I tune in regardless. But Sweden, it is a dumpster fire. Like I thought maybe the men would be better in Sweden. They are giving the American men a run for their money. Like think what is the it's not 90 Day Fiance.
Not very good.
The one
Right?
what's the show that they like meet at the altar?
Married at First Sight.
Yes.
I was
Think
about to tell
Married
you
at
to
First
watch that because I love Married at First Sight.
Think Married at First Sight, the Atlanta season.
Oh Lord, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the Swedish one because I just can't. Like when
Okay.
Netflix does all the others, and I'm not. That sounds awful, but like I just can't. The only shows that I'm able to watch English dubbed were like Squid Games,
Yeah.
and then what was it called? Hellbound, Hellhound. It was
I
another
don't
like Japanese show. It was really good. It was about like this. Um, oh Lord, I watched it in COVID. Okay, it was basically about this. You, if you did something bad, you had like a certain amount of days, and this thing would come and tell you what day you're gonna die. And if you see the thing that tells you the day you're gonna die, like you die in this really awful way, like these things come out of the ground and like rip your body apart, like for everyone to see, like it's like a mess, right? So, um,
If you do something bad,
yeah, so like if you do something morally corrupt, basically, like then you are marked. Like, so say you steal something, and I want to say that's how you get it because I'm not remembering 100%, but the show was really good. But I got to the end of the season, and then I don't know if they made another season yet. But say you like steal from somebody or something, and then this like death angel thing comes and like tells you like a date, and like that's the day you're gonna die, and like you know that, and there's no way to avoid it. There's no like whatever, and so like when your day comes, it's a thing, and so these things literally like come out of the best way I can describe them are like like big troll monster demon things, and they like literally come and like rip your body apart, like, and they like these rich people like will watch it, like 'cause they know when people's date is coming, and they'll like watch it happen. That I only got to one season, so I don't know like what's gonna happen next or whatever. But I know that like the season. Well, I'm not gonna ruin it for you because if you want to watch it or anybody wants to watch it, it's actually really good. I'm not like, describing it in a really good way. I don't like scary stuff or gruesome stuff, so if I could watch it and like it, then it wasn't that bad.
okay.
But it isn't in English. But there's like the whatever. But that was during like the Squid Games time when everyone was like into watching like the Japanese dramas, and it was very good. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I'm like in the mood for movies. I feel like I go in and out. Like I'll be like, okay, I really want to watch a TV show or do whatever. And I did that with my mom. We just watched Married at First Sight, like not the most recent season, but the one before that, the San Diego season. And it's just so triggering. Like I'm just like these men and these women, but these people are just so like not ready to date, like don't need to be dating, don't need to be married, not married. Um, and I'm like losing hope for us.
I'm gaining more hope in living a very happy life alone. Like that doesn't
Oh,
sound like don't be sad. Like it doesn't sound like like, I'm sure I'll have like partners throughout my life, but and like marriage would be cool. I'm not anti-marriage, but like I'm not, like, if the alternative is that, I
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like where I'm at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm not mad at you for that. I would love to be married one day and like have that whole experience in that stage of my life, but not at like the cost of my sanity and happiness.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't sound fun, but it is something that I want. I've always like seen myself being married, so that but just to be married, like it's not giving that.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I need to like send you this TikTok. It's like a TikTok thread at this point. So
Hmm.
it's a bunch of women who are talking about like their marriage, but not in like the like shaming people who aren't married type of way. Like they give you like the real tea of what it is like to be married to a lot of these men, and
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's just scary.
It's
Like,
probably like the pregnancy TikToks. I remember
yes.
when pregnancy TikToks were like, okay, well, they're still happening all the time, but like, there was some, I watched like probably five or six of them, and then my algorithm picked them up, and now I see them all the time on like Instagram and TikTok. And that shit is like some of the stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we sign up for this multiple times.
No, literally no. Like, I think one of the stories I heard was like this woman asked her husband to help her like clean up the family room for Thanksgiving dinner or something. And this man, instead of helping her clean up, decides that's the day he's gonna paint the house, like the outside of the house.
Okay,
No, no, no. That's grounds for divorce. Like, actually, no.
make it make
Why are
sense.
you doing that?
Make it make sense because it don't.
Like, you don't want to help your wife clean the inside of the house for your family that bad that
You don't
you
want
start a
to help
home
me so
improvement
bad.
project. You start a whole home improvement project that is not going to be done by the time your guests get there.
Oy. No, that's a lot.
Yeah, solitude is looking great. It's looking
I hate that for
fantastic.
us. I hate that for us.
I'm okay with it.
I hate that for us. The thing is, I'd only want to be in solitude forever if I could have Brownie with me forever. And even though I think I can have him forever, I know I can't. And so it's like, I don't want to like be without my boo, my little poo poo. So
Brownie's only what, 3?
he'll be 4 next month on the 12th.
You have a good amount of time.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not like my
I'm
mom.
sure you'll have a man, even if it's not a full-fledged husband, by the end of Brownie's life. Like, I think
Oh,
you'll be
right now, I don't even want to think about the end of his life. Oh, next subject.
okay. All right. All right. Well,
I'm
on a
triggered.
more fun note related to like the future, I guess. Um, so I was at this wellness center the other day. Yeah. And I'm just like minding my own business. This psychic medium comes up to me and is like, and at first, like, okay, y'all know I'm woo woo. So I'm giving this woman the benefit of the doubt because
It
that's
like
just,
comes up to you randomly out of the crowd, like
I mean, there wasn't a crowd. There was maybe like 3 other people there, but comes up to me.
no, like she just walked up to you off the street, like not like you saw her. Okay, okay.
Hmm. And she goes, "Did you have a grandmother that passed?" I Okay.
He is. Odds are the answer is yes.
Like, okay, but I did. But I did. So, but
Odds
it
are
was
everyone our age has a grandparent that's fat.
yeah, it was literally like 10 years ago. It was over 10 years ago. So, and she didn't tell me she was a medium before she asked me that. So I was just like, I was stuck. And I thought about lying. But then I like, obviously it would have been a lie because she had me stuck for a minute. So I was like, yeah, but it was like a while ago. And she was like, oh, yeah, yeah. Like she was just like chatting to me. And I'm like, and then she goes, I'm a medium. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, all right, what are you selling? Because I'm not buying. Like I'm
Yeah.
actually super good off of this. Even if you have the gift, like either give me your free message from my deceased grandmother or like keep it
Or keep
pushing.
stepping. Right.
Like weird. Okay, so then she starts giving me like a very inaccurate reading. Like a very inaccurate.
Yeah.
Very inaccurate. Like she said something about like Brown law, like Brown University law, and she was like, "Stop like stressing about how you're going to pay for school." Guys, I got my master's 5 years ago in public health.
Maybe she says it's time to go to law school. Sydney.
No. No.
It's
I
giving
there's
it's giving Alicia Woods.
It's not no. I think she was talking to somebody else's grandma because there's not been it like there's nothing in me that has ever wanted to go to law school. Not even an inkling.
Okay.
There hasn't been a like, should I not? What graduate degree should I get? Like, no.
Nothing. Okay.
And matter of fact, after my master's, I literally said I would never go back to school for any reason.
It's understandable.
So I'm sitting there like, because at this point I'm like, all right, I could either argue with this woman. It's probably going to turn into something longer. So I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And like,
You're on something. Right.
so she keeps going, and she said, what else did she say? Oh, she was like, and like your grandparents, they weren't together, but then they were. I just want like they just want me to tell you like they're back together now. My grandpa's alive. So and he's remarried to a new woman. So
Okay.
I'm like, oh my gosh. So in the very back of my head, I'm like, did my grandpa die? Like I haven't talked to him in like 2 days. Like so I'm low key freaking out, but I'm trying to
I got dark.
so then I'm telling her, I'm like, oh, like thank goodness, like they really didn't like each other. Like I'm just so happy, like which I mean they got divorced like before I was born.
All right.
So then what else did she say? She was just saying a lot. Oh, she said something about a diamond ring. She was like, don't worry about the diamond ring. I'm like, girl, I am so single. I am so
I
single.
wasn't worrying about it until now. Right.
I am so like what diamond there's actually like you would have to be seeing like 5 years into the future if that.
At least.
At least. Like what are you talking about? So
Are you sure she was a medium or was she just like on the street?
She wasn't on the street. She like paid for the wellness center, like the spa service and everything. Like she was like,
okay. So she wasn't.
and then
like,
she was like, look me up on Facebook. Like, so I obviously had to look her up. So I looked her up on Facebook, and like she's like a whole like business, like she's doing this.
Because obviously she's not doing a good job doing the medium work.
And she's literally just like, yeah, and like, you know, just like hit me up on Facebook, like I'll give you like a full in-depth reading. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'll definitely do that.
You gonna pay that lady to lie to you?
She just lied to me for free.
That's it. You gonna pay her?
No, I don't know whose granny she was talking to. Like, I'm not doubting her ability, but it wasn't my grandma.
Like, oh, some old black lady has come to me.
Because immediately and both of my grandmas are like they're very light skinned, like they're low key passing a little. So maybe I don't know. So immediately after she left, I call my mom. And I'm like, have you talked to grandpa? Because that's the only thing I'm thinking about. That's literally my only
Well,
concern.
he just told you your grandpa's dead, which is crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. I'm literally just trying to like mind my business, enjoy like the spa. Like you're telling me my grandma's dead or my grandpa's dead.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I called my mom. My grandpa's fine.
Okay,
He's
well,
fine. He's lit. She was like, "Yeah, I just got off the phone with him 20 minutes ago."
okay, good. He's living. He's living, loving, laughing.
Like, why would you do that? Why would you disturb my day like that? To lie? Or maybe she wasn't lying again. Like, I mean, there was another brown man in there. So maybe that was his grandma.
Maybe, maybe it was some old dead black lady in there talking to her.
Yo. Yo. Yeah,
Uh,
no.
well, bless her soul. You know, she.
Unless she's a liar. Unless she's a liar, in which case
It's giving woo.
don't go around lying to people about their grandparents. Like that's kind of a lot.
It's giving woo 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 woo. But you know,
Not the fun woo woo that I'm into. Like,
I don't know. Like I would feel very uncomfortable. I've thank God, knock on wood, have never had like some random person come up to me and be like, "Oh, can I read you?" or like, "You're dead. So and so is talking to me." That would make me very uncomfortable. So I'm very glad that that has not happened. I have friends who it's happened to, but not me. Um,
that's good.
I don't want that energy. Like keep that over there. I don't.
That happens to me like twice a year.
I don't see.
Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not. That happens to me more often than like it probably should be. I don't know. I think I look a little bit too approachable sometimes when I'm out. Like this girl looks like she would fall for this or be open to this.
This girl looks like a sucker.
And I was acting like a sucker because I just wanted it to be over fast. So I was just like, wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness my grandparents are back together.
It's
Yeah,
enough for me.
law school sounds great in this economy. What?
Oh, guys. Awful songs.
Sorry to all my lawyer friends. It's just not,
Yeah, not for me.
no.
For those who could do it, great, lucrative, very great. But for me, it's a no dog. But you know,
With another master's already under my, like, you didn't see that? My grandma didn't tell you that?
no, she's just grandma was too busy telling her other things.
About a diamond ring that I don't have
Maybe she's foreshadowing.
10 years in the future when I
You know,
eventually sit down for marriage.
a man may fall in your lap and be like,
A man could fall in my lap, but marriage is a conscious choice. And we are,
marry me, Sydney. And you know,
no,
just be like, wow, married at first sight, I'm in love.
no. I used to like love bombing, but not anymore. Like, no.
Yeah, no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We're not interested.
Keep your ring.
I mean, you can give it to me, but
You won't be getting it back. And you won't ever see me wear it. Like,
I didn't stop for it.
yeah. No. Unless he was like that billionaire that Rihanna was dating. I could be convinced.
Oh, he was cute.
Yeah. He was cute and rich.
Wealthy, actually.
Well, you're so right.
Yeah. No, that worked.
So
So
we can appreciate
okay,
that.
it sounds shady, but you know she really loves ASAP because I mean he's handsome, but he's definitely not even as wealthy as she is. So
I feel like there's a certain level of wealth that you get to where you just actually get to do what you want. Like without all of those extra like factors. Like,
everything.
yeah, I like him, and there's actually nothing preventing me from being with him.
Yeah, if money's not a factor at all, finances are not a factor at all, You just get to enjoy someone and then like live your life like that because you actually like the person, not because you're worrying about like, is he going to be able to provide X, Y, and Z because you just have it all unlocked.
His personality has to go crazy.
It seems like it would. And honestly, the way that they are together, like in whatever interviews you see them do or like hear them talk together, like they sound like they really genuinely like are cool. And they've been friends for how long before that, right? Like so
Valid. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like they really wanted to be together. And I love that for her. I want her to be happy. She deserves it. As
Like
long as
I
she don't
said,
drop her
money can't buy happiness. They lied. Like my good sis looks happy.
I don't think money can buy you happiness, but I definitely think that money makes you less stressed. And less stress leads to happiness because you can't, I mean, there's always gonna be something that makes you sad, right? Like everyone has their thing. So I don't think it can buy you happiness, but definitely can take the load off.
I think for me personally, the things that are making me sad currently, money can solve.
Oh yeah. So yeah, probably some of them.
Yeah. Money can buy me happiness, people. Just
Anyone's
throw
wondering
it.
the way to make me
Wealth.
happy.
Wealth can buy me happiness. I don't want anyone confused. Like, I want
Yeah.
to be crystal
All
clear.
right.
My problems can absolutely be solved with money currently.
And I whoop. Okay, so let's hop into the meat of this. We talked about boundaries in the workplace, but let's talk about this job market. I mean, we're both looking for new jobs right now,
Yep.
and I'm gonna just say it's ass at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just be real. Like,
For lack of like a better, more eloquent way to say that. It's been interesting. I mean, we've all seen like headlines of layoffs and the scarcity for jobs, right? Like there's barely any jobs available that are worth doing, right? For people who are accustomed to a certain level of work. Or you've even got these companies doing these ghost postings, which one of my clients told me about like months ago, and I was like, "Girl, you're kidding!" And she is actually on the marketing team for somewhere, and was like, "No, they actually have us doing this
yeah.
for like making these," which was crazy to me. So like we got all of that going on. So let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the job market right now? What's going on? How are you feeling?
Girl. So, I just want to like give some statistics. They're not even real
Oh,
statistics. I
facts.
came with the numbers today because the the government is trying to make it seem like the job market is perfectly fine. And the amount of jobs that are currently sitting up on LinkedIn, it looks like it is currently fine. But like when we actually look into the details, it is not fine.
Okay, hit us with the numbers.
So Wayfair just laid off 13% of their company.
Okay.
YouTube just laid off 100 people. Like earlier this week, I think.
Okay.
Google has been laying off people. And their CEO says that they should expect more to come in 2024. Microsoft just laid off 1,900 people.
Oh, that's hella.
That's a lot of people.
Oh shit.
Now, if you go look at any of these companies on LinkedIn, they all still have job postings up.
Oh, all currently recruiting.
Yeah, currently recruiting. And not only do they have job postings up with 100 plus applicants for each of their postings, these jobs have been reposted and are continuing to be reposted. So I think that is like just giving us context into what we're facing. Basically, from what I have observed, these companies are laying people off that they know they couldn't afford, but recycling like talent for cheaper. And I think that a lot of, and not even I think, I know that a lot of these positions that have been reposted or posted are for lower salaries than the people that were originally doing these jobs.
That's true. That's so true.
At the same time, inflation is still going up. So cost of living is increasing and they're decreasing our wages, taking it from an employee market to now an employer market. Like, we had the power during COVID. They were desperate to get people to work. And
Also,
now,
these companies had money, right? Like,
yeah,
there was the economy was doing. Companies were doing well during
yeah,
COVID. Like, I know the company that I was working for during COVID, like, was booming, and numbers were better than had been before, and that was a lot of that was attributed to productivity because people had no work life balance because they were working at home.
yeah,
So they were just working constantly and working hours that they normally wouldn't. So of course everything's getting done at a like rapid rate.
yeah,
Um, but then COVID ended. People started not wanting to come into the office. People decided they're going to get a new job that isn't going to make them come into the office. So they start, things start moving around.
yeah,
And then I think companies projected for that trend to keep going up like it did while we were still in COVID times, and it didn't.
yeah,
But they had hired on so many people with these big inflated salaries.
yeah, yeah.
And that was like, I mean, speaking from where we were, I mean, in California, people were making like buku money.
I know
Um,
someone that was making 600K.
because they could at the time. And then now they're like laying off everybody. And it's like, oh, so because we can't afford this, you didn't plan this properly? Like, what's the tea here?
The T is, I think a lot of these companies took PPP loans, so they have to look
Ooh.
like they're hiring. I'm dead ass. I don't know I don't know. I don't have any proof of this. I have no proof. So
This
I
is
will.
woo-woo section of the day.
This isn't even woo woo. This is like economy conspiracy
Yeah,
section.
it's your conspiracy theory of the episode.
Yeah, this is. I need at least one per episode. This is it. I really think that a lot of these companies took PPP loans during the pandemic. And in order to not pay back the PPP loan, they have to show that they still have a certain number of employees or that they're trying to obtain a certain number of employees, which
Okay.
explains a lot of these ghost roles that are posted, or them like posting positions for low salaries that nobody with the actual experience that they're looking for would actually go for, because a
Yeah.
lot of these companies have changed these entry level like paying positions to 8+ years experience. Nobody with 8+ years of experience in tech is working for 80K. Nobody's doing that.
No.
Like, in this economy, you literally can't even afford to live with roommates making 80K at this point.
No. No. It's not. That's not happening.
At
And
least in California.
yeah, and like most other places too. Like, it's just like it's too much. And the thing with the ghost postings, that's really just like it's more than just ghost postings. So like you're getting, you know, the fake stuff on LinkedIn, then you're getting breadcrumbed by organizations when you're interviewing for them. So
Yeah.
like just like in dating, how you get ghosted and breadcrumbed, same thing happens at work. So you literally go through all of this process and they're giving you just enough communication to keep you there, to keep you
Yeah.
wanting, to keep you asking, to keep you invested in the process. And then at the end of it, oh, we don't have the budget for this. Oh, we actually have decided to go another direction. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Whatever the excuse du jour is, right? Or they just ghost you altogether. Like, there have been jobs that I've applied to, like June, July of last year, and just like never heard anything.
Yeah.
Just never heard anything.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually have a whole story for that.
oh, we love a story.
I don't love
Give
this
it
story, but the context works. So I have been interviewing with a job that I applied to back in November. The job had been like up a month before I applied. So I'm assuming that they posted the job in October.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have me go through, so first I had to jump through crazy hoops. Like I reached out to all of my connections to get this job, because that's like, cold applying is very difficult at this point. You're going against a million people whose resumes are generated by AI, whose resumes will then be scanned by AI.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I have a couple of connects that actually work very closely with this team. Literally, one of my connections wrote a 2-page letter of recommendation on my behalf.
Oh wow.
And that is how
Oh,
I
you
got
gotta
the
love
interview.
good people.
No, like,
That's a
she
blessing.
knows who she is, but yeah, like, I don't want to give too much information because I'm really about to say some things that are not nice about this company, but she is wonderful.
Yeah, that's really great.
And I'm sure her team is great. So she writes me this 2-page letter of recommendation, blind CCs me. So I've seen the letter of recommendation, sends it to the hiring manager. Like, she's highlighting everything I've done since college. Like, she's tagging the websites I've developed, like all of this stuff. So I don't hear anything for like 3 weeks after this. Like they didn't even respond to the email. So I'm like, all right. I mean, like, there's literally nothing else I could have done.
I'm actually trash.
Like, you just don't fuck with me. All right. All right.
It's me.
I've literally put my best foot forward, but like, I have nothing else to give. So they finally get back to me, right? And they're interviewing me for 2 different roles. I'm open to both at this point, because I really do like the company. Like, I've worked for similar companies, and it's also a nonprofit. So like, you know, that student loan, like, forgiveness, like, it's all coming together in my head. Oh, it's also where I want to move. So like, I'm not living there yet, but I'm telling them like, I'm open to relocation, like all this stuff.
Right.
So I finally get I get 2 initial interviews for both positions. Both go well, but then I stop hearing anything about like one of the positions that I applied to. The next one, I don't hear anything for 3 weeks. So I'm like, damn, like, y'all met me and still don't fuck with me. Like,
so it's really me.
It's literally me. Okay, cool. Right.
I guess I wasn't memorable.
I thought shit went well. Like, it's literally, yeah, it felt like a crazy. I understand what you were saying about like ghosting's not cool, but they got back to me on a Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. asking me to do a case study for them in 24 hours. Now, if I hadn't been panic checking my email at 10:30 p.m., which I had been doing, like after that initial interview, because I thought it went so well, I had been like checking my email religiously until
when you're on the job hunt, you're like frantically checking your email every 10 minutes because you're like yeah.
Like, it's literally just an email from Zara, like
literally, and you're like, unsubscribe. Like,
I was unsubscribing from everything. I
don't want anything unless it's a job.
Like, why are y'all bothering me? I'm literally trying to get the funds to shop here. So I finally get the email at 10:30, and then I'm like, okay, if I don't respond to this until the morning, then that's when my 24 hours will start. I'm not responding to this at 10:30 p.m.
Yeah, no. And we're not going to start unrealistic expectations.
After not hearing from you for 3 weeks?
Yeah, like 10:30 p.m. is not the time to be emailing me. But okay, you're doing something for me right now. I'm the one interviewing for your position, so I'm gonna. Yeah.
It was a slight red flag though, because I'm like, why are you on your email at 10:30 p.m.? Because I won't be.
It's giving maroon flag. It's giving that.
Is maroon worse or better than red flag?
It's like a muted. It's like a salmon. We'll give it salmon pink.
Okay, cool. So the next morning at 8 a.m. Oh, mind you, they haven't told me like what the case study is. They're just saying you're gonna have a case study. So I couldn't like prepare for it. They were like, let me know when you want us to drop it. I'm like, okay. So at 8 a.m., mind you,
for the fucking Beyonce album.
And to do that week. Like, I'm not doing nothing
secret project dropping at 10 a.m. Let us
that I have to
know.
complete. That I have to complete. The assignment is dropping. Like,
no stress.
and I have stuff to do that week. Like, I'm not over here doing nothing. Like, my calendar is full. There are like, I think there were like 2 days that I wasn't even really going to have time to like do it.
Right.
So I'm thinking like, okay, I need to like map this out because I don't know what the case study is going to be. I don't know how much effort it's going to take, but I obviously want to do a good job. She drops the case study or I ask her to the next morning at 8 a.m. She doesn't get back to me until noon. So I'm like, all right, so I have from noon until noon. So I'm going to be working into the night tonight, right. Obviously. They basically want me to like design a whole like sprint for a project and like walk through how I would do it. So I spend the next 24 hours putting together 20 slides. I reached deep into my Deloitte consulting days, put together 20 slides. And then 2 days before Christmas, I had to present those 20 slides to 10 people.
On how you would do a project that they're asking you to do. Mm-hmm. So working for free.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
2 days before Christmas.
2 days before Christmas. So did not Christmas shop, mind you. Everybody got their gifts late this year. Like, so this was on a Friday that I presented. So after the interview, the interview was an hour and a half on camera in a suit. Like, yeah.
Right. And so obviously, if it's 2 days before Christmas, let's think about this now. 2 days before Christmas and a Friday, you're not going to hear from them for the weekend because it's a weekend. Then it's also a holiday. We're getting into New Year. You're not going to hear from them then. We're pushing this. Like, the dates that you hear back is getting pushed well into January.
And mind you,
in November.
When I started this process, I asked them, when are you trying to have someone start? Just so I can know, because I do want to move to this area and like, I need to get my ducks in a row. Because one thing about Sydney, I'm good at interviewing. Like, that is actually like a strength that I'm very proud of. So I had already, when they finally responded to me, I was like, oh, I got it. Like, it's fine. Right. It's mine. So I'm already like planning to move. So they're like, yeah, first week of January, latest second week of January. But by your math, I'm now doing the math, and that's not realistic.
Mathing.
No. They also, this place will want me to do a background check and a drug test.
Okay, so then you got to schedule those things too. So that puts you out 2 more weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
at least 2 more weeks. At least. Given whoever can do the background check does it in time or whatever their schedule's looking like.
Given I even accept the offer the day they give it to me. Like, so at the end of the interview, I'm like, like, what's the new timeline? Because this is not looking like it's going to map out to Martin Luther King Day, if we're being real. And she was like, well, even if I decide the week between Christmas and New Year's, like, I'll have to like confer with the team after that. And then like, most likely like end of January. So I was like, okay. End of January is annoying, but okay.
That's now.
Yeah. For context, it's now. So first week of January comes, I don't hear anything. Still checking my email religiously, but I'm like, you know what? When I'm working, I don't really do too much the first week of January, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Everyone has to come back from holiday, from vacation.
Exactly.
Then MLK weekend, a lot of people take that whole thing off to make that a whole longer break. Like, I get it. So end of January, sure.
They didn't communicate well, but yeah, sure, whatever. So I emailed the recruiter the first week of January anyway, just so that I'm like back on her mind. And like, even if she's not back in the office, my email will be closer to the top of her inbox. I don't hear anything. We get into the second week of January. I still don't hear anything. I follow up with her again, still nothing. So then I decide to message the hiring manager because I'm like, okay, somebody needs to give me something. Like, I messaged the hiring manager. An hour later, I heard back from HR.
Okay.
HR then tells me that they want to schedule another 15-minute interview with someone in the C-suite. But they don't know when that will be scheduled.
Okay. That seems like, if I'm thinking about it from an interviewee perspective, if you want to get a 15-minute with someone in the C suite, they only usually put things on those people's calendars if it's important. So it's someone that you want to hire, right? You usually only talk to people, those people high up at that point.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes isn't long enough to like, for them to ask you like hella questions, but it is long enough for them to gauge like, okay, yeah, this person's cool, fine.
Right.
Um, so that's like redeeming.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I got it, but now I still have to like you don't know when the interview is getting scheduled? Like that's not and why did you tell me that I would know by this date when you knew there was another part of the interview process? When did you
Did you ask
decide?
them? Did you ask them in the beginning? Probably did, but like what the interview process looks like who you're going to be talking to, and so they just
Yeah.
added this person on at the end.
Yes. 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 Yeah, they did. And they called me to tell me this, mind you. So like the woman had said, "Are you available for a call like tomorrow or whatever?" So I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be my offer call." Like, yeah, like whenever you're ready for real, for real. And then she hits me with another 15-minute interview, but we don't know when it's going to be. So I'm waiting for a 15-minute like check mark conversation. And mind you, the whole like process of getting me even to work for this company 2 to 3 weeks starts after whenever this interview is.
Right. So you have to go through all of the like pre-hire things, then the hiring stuff, then the orientations and the whatevers and it's like a whole. It's gonna be March, April before you start that
That's what
job.
she said. She was like, "We're looking at beginning of March now." So I'm like, "Okay, I've been doing this since November, and now you're saying so an entire quarter of a year, a fiscal quarter is how long it has taken me to start this job that I've already done work for."
And those like recruiting is expensive on their end, and I
Yeah,
always like think about that from like what like from their perspective. Like, why do y'all want to take 6 to 8 months to interview for something when it costs you money to do that? Like, this whole process is expensive. Like, why don't you streamline this and then get somebody in there to start doing the job? Because obviously the job needs to get done. But like,
clearly.
wait, I remember when I was on like an interview committee when one of my previous jobs, and that was one thing we always used to say was like, this process is so strenuous for everyone involved, because like even us as current employees, they would be like asking us to do multiple. We'd have like a day full of interviews where we'd be panel interviewing like 10 or 12 different candidates, and it's like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you would talk to them more than once.
Yep.
It's like, if I've already talked to them and I gave my 2 cents, why do I need to talk to them again?
Like, what are we really trying to figure out? You've seen not you have my portfolio and you have a case study that I've done. So I am clearly qualified to do the job if we're still talking at this point.
Yeah.
But I figured out what it actually was
Uh-oh.
today.
Dun, dun, dun. What is?
So I emailed
Um,
her on Monday because she told me I was supposed to hear back last Tuesday and I didn't hear
mhm.
anything. So on Monday I was like, hey, like just checking in again to see if there's any update. Like, and she knows I'm pissed because I sounded pissed during the last call, but I don't care anymore. So she emails me. Essentially, they're still trying to get funding for this role. So this job that has been posted since October, and mind you, haven't heard anything about the other job that I interviewed for at the same company. Like, got ghosted from that. Y'all don't even have funding for a role that you've had posted for months and that has had over 100 applicants. And the top applicants have already gone through several interviews, a case study.
So basically, you just wasted my time and
You
your and everyone's time. I could have been interviewing for something else. doing spending that time doing something else. But I spent my time doing projects for you for free and interviewing for months and months and months. And then you're gonna hit me with we don't have funding for this.
Not even that. They haven't even acknowledged that they don't have funding for it. They're saying they're still trying to get it.
Oh, so we're being optimistic here. Okay, so at that point, exit stage left.
Oh, oh, it's over.
It's red flag city. The flags are actually black. They're not even red anymore. It's just full out black.
If you don't have funding for a job that you've had posted for months, you're scrambling to get funding. And I'm assuming you're not getting funding for 5 years. I'm assuming that you're just trying to get like this year's funding. So I could be laid off next year because they haven't even approved. And what is this imaginary meeting with the C-suite?
Not imaginary.
So you lie.
Yeah, so then like what? You still don't have the funding. I have the meeting with somebody in the C-suite and then there's still no funding. So then what? I have to have another interview? Okay. And they wonder why we're fucking exhausted. Like I'm losing, you lose steam with these interviews, right? Like you start getting to the point where you're just like going through the motions.
I never thought in an interview I would have to ask, is this role already funded? Never crossed my mind, but it's been added to the list of interview questions.
Oh, that's a lot. Do you have adequate funding for this role?
That you're interviewing people for?
I hate it here. I literally, there's no. First of all, I'm sorry because that's ass, honestly, and
yeah,
it's like pulling you through the emotional ringer, also making you do work, and like pull all the tools out of your toolkit to put something together that you didn't get to use. I mean, I guess technically you still have it, but it's catered specifically for that company, so that's irritating.
Yep. In 24 hours before Christmas. So you just, and mind you, this is supposed to be not necessarily the best they treat you, but like, what's it like to actually work there?
Yeah, like we're in the courting phase. I feel like when we're interviewing, like that, this is like, okay, I'm putting my best foot forward. You're putting your best foot forward.
Are they?
Well, they're supposed to.
I'm not going to say who it is, but to be very real, this entire process has turned me off from ever going through any type of process with them ever again. If they want to recruit me and poach me, cool. But you will never get another.
Still, even then, if the check ain't checking, then I wouldn't. Even then, because
it wasn't even checking like that. Like, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. It was cool. But it was more responsibility than like my last role. So it would have been like a promotion for myself, which would have been cool. But it was the same pay as the last role.
Also, it was an imaginary money because it wasn't even funded.
They didn't even have it. They didn't even have the money.
They were just throwing it at the wall to see what's.
Do we have someone that would do this if we got the funding?
Let's ballpark it and see what we can, what people say in their, what is it like, desired salary range. Let's see what people say, and then we'll see that's how much money we're going to ask for.
They weren't even giving me what I asked for. They had counter offered lower.
Yeah. So yeah, basically yeah.
So yeah, that's the current state of the job market. Like, yeah. It's becoming comical. It's really like,
it's becoming something. I know that they said like now there are more people becoming entrepreneurs than ever because they don't want to work in traditional American work culture, right? Like it's becoming less and less appealing, especially for younger generations, millennials, Gen Zs, whatever. And I feel that. Like I really feel that because companies make you hate them. and it's like that's part of it. I just don't know how our parents and grandparents worked at the same company for 20, 30, 40 years.
They had incentive to. I mean, they were coming
But
into
what was,
pensions.
but like that, I can't imagine the same job that is treating you like shit and paying you like dirt
Yeah.
for 40 years. I mean, it just gives, I respect those generations so much for that because that's a lot. That's a lot of grit, a lot of heart. Though I would like for a lot of them to like retire though, so that more jobs can open up for people who like are in working ages. It's really unfortunate that people who are in their late 60s and early 70s still have to work.
Literally,
Uh,
I'm so glad you said that. Like, key on still have to. So I
have
think a
to.
lot of people would want to retire.
Oh
And
God,
even
yeah.
like what you said about like they showed grit or whatever. The job that was paying them dirt, they could still, for a lot of them, like they could still afford to live. We are in a generation where
Well,
we
that was when they
cannot.
were buying houses for $40,000.
We can't. We literally like we're getting laid off left and right. Our wages are decreasing, inflation's going up, like I said before, but like it's just not, we're not going to have a retirement. Like a 401k, you would literally have to put away half of your salary for that to do anything for you by the time you like that doesn't.
I'm interested and scared to see what our generation looks like in retirement age because it's either gonna have to be it can go a couple ways. It can be like great because a lot of people are we're really savvy with like side hustles and figuring it out and passion projects and all of that generate funds.
Yeah.
So it could be that people aren't retiring from their 9 to 5 jobs, but they are like getting revenue from other ways that sustain retired life.
Yeah.
Or it can be the opposite, which is there are no resources for old people and they don't have any structures that sustain that anymore. I mean, Social Security is always a thing, right? Like that's a thing, but like, is that even enough to live?
They're going to pull social security by the time we're retiring. We're not going to
And
have
is
that.
that even enough? Can you even live on Social Security like that? Like live? Like,
Nope.
yeah. So that's okay. Well, we won't be old for a really long time, but that just still seems like
I'll be living off the land by then. I'm not doing this forever. Like I'm not. Have you seen I forget Khalees?
just like her farm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm this close. Like if I could buy a plot of land and I've been on, I mean, when I was like doom scrolling, feeling sorry for myself on TikTok, I did see that Amazon is selling tiny homes. I'm literally going to buy a plot of land, buy a 20K tiny home. They only cost 20K. You
Mm-hmm.
can assemble them in an hour
Yeah.
and have a farm.
No, there are more and more people wanting to do that kind of lifestyle, and I don't see anything wrong with it. Like farm life, or like if you get a plot of land somewhere really pretty where like you have peace of mind and you own something and it brings you joy, like why spend buku money on some apartment that you're renting when you can like now a tiny home might not be sustainable for like a family, but like if just you, that's fine, or you and one other person. And
Which it
then
will be
maybe
for a
like
while.
work on building things, right?
Yeah.
Like and build a home on your own property or like whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, the rural life, I'm a city girl through and through, but rural life seems more fun as I get older. I'm like being like secluded where no one's bothering me.
Yep. I saw there's like a whole group of black women on TikTok talking about how they've gone from their Olivia Pope era into their Khalees era, and like, yeah, it's low key giving that. Like, I can't. Not even I can't. I don't want to. Like, I would love a tiny home in like wine country, like abroad. That would be. I don't know if Amazon can deliver a 20K home
Amazon
over to
can do
like
anything.
to
So
Spain. Amazon can do anything.
Amazon can do it. I believe it. I think everyone around the world gets Amazon now. So
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need them to drop me something off in like Barcelona. Barcelona is kind of like city though, like
it
the
is.
countryside of Spain. I could
Yeah,
do,
there we go.
and
Ooh,
then
that
you guys
sounds.
could just come visit me whenever you want.
Look, the all the homegirls on a plot on like a ranch style vibe with everyone's dogs sounds like a great life.
I think we should talk about it. I'm getting really close. If I have one more experience like that interview process, I'm
Is that
actually like,
your 12th and a half?
I'm very close. I'm very, very close. I feel like, I might get a corporate job for 2 more years and really like save and dip. I'm, it's not giving anymore.
It isn't. I was just talking to my uncle about that. I'm like, I am not someone who has dreams of working a corporate job forever. Like, I have entrepreneurial endeavors that are really important to me and that fuel me, and I would much rather do those. And since they are things that can make money, I would much rather like have a job that I need to work to fund those dreams to get them off the ground. And that's really just like where I'm at. Like, I'm not holding out hope to find the perfect company to be at forever because I love their mission and whatever. Like,
What is the mission? Like, what are we really doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
we're just living. We're living. Just keep swimming. Just, like, just.
That's like a cult like saying. I feel like just keep swimming, like just keep
That's
doing it. Like you don't know why you're doing it, but just keep it on.
Yeah. You need to watch. Uh, Don't worry, darling. Then I think you'd like it after this conversation.
I'll give it a
But
try.
oof. Well, in other news, let's talk about our goals for this next week coming up. Not to end on a downer, let's make it a little more exciting. Maybe there's new goals. Maybe we're gonna add some goals. I don't know. What are your goals for the upcoming week and your long term stretch
Okay.
goal?
Um continue long term stretch goal, continue with like the vulnerability thing. I think I like pulled back a little bit this week because it's easy for me to be vulnerable when everything's great, but when it's not great, that's when I just like pretend like it is, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
vulnerability. um or I just like don't talk to people until it is good again. So I'm gonna try not to do that. I'm gonna reach out to a couple of people, like be real about where I've been, which has been in bed. And then I think, also another, actually a goal for this week, I want, and I said it a little bit last week, I kind of want to look back into like the entrepreneurial stuff that I was working on at the end of last year before I started this interview process and got distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I want to like actually start to collect some tangible things that I need to do to get off of this wheel, this corporate
Mm-hmm.
wheel. So,
Okay.
what about you?
Short term goal for this next week. Um, update, I guess, on some goals that I have had was to find a barber. I've kind of just put a pin in that one for the moment because since I'm going back to Oakland in February, I'm just gonna get a haircut while I'm there, and then they'll let me ride for a little bit longer.
Okay.
But a goal for next week. Well, one of the jobs that I'm interviewing for told me that they would get back to me next week, so I'm not gonna hold out for it, but I'm hoping. Um, so there's that. And then long term, I need to work on my communication with people because I do not enjoy phone calls and texting and all of that. Like, it's just not my vibe. Like we talked about in the low maintenance friend episode, like I just don't have, I don't need it to sustain, but like a lot of my friends do,
Yeah.
especially since I'm not in California anymore with a lot of them. I think some of them might feel like abandoned, for lack of a better term. And I'm like, I'm not abandoning you. Like, I think about you all the time, love you dearly, but I just don't, I'm not a phone person. Like, I don't, I'm more like a hangout, like, let's hang out. But since you can't, I guess, because you know, we live across the country, I need to work on that. And I can do better. Because I love my friends. So I need to call people more. So we're gonna work on that for my long term, just getting better. But I will do definitely work on it next week for sure. But you know, there's just like an overall vibe.
Okay.
So
Maybe voice notes. They're like mini podcasts for your friends.
no, I love voice notes, but also so the new thing with voice notes that it like transcribes it for you. I've stopped listening to people's voice notes. I just read it and then I respond
Oh, okay.
because like I sometimes so I have some friends who are unhinged, and so like I can't listen to certain voice notes in certain places.
Yeah.
So I'll like read the little transcription first, and I'm like, okay, and then I'll just end up texting back, and then I'm like, I don't know. Also, I feel like when I'm not where I want to be in all aspects of everything, I like my thing is to like ostrich down into my hole and figure out my stuff and then come out once I have answers, because when I start talking to people, I need to have answers for them and I don't have any answers.
Yeah.
And so it becomes like frustrating, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I need to work on that long term. But shit, I am who I am. I'm trying. I'm
You are who
trying.
you are, and you're at where you're at.
That's the thing, but I'm gonna try because my friends deserve for me to try, so I will try. But we'll see what happens come next week.
Okay, all right. Love to get the update.
Yes. Well, thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Character Development, and we will see you next week. Bye.
See ya. Oh my gosh, it stopped so slow.
When I tell you, we may need to re-record that episode because my son